We'll call this meeting to order. It's August 13th at 6 o'clock. Scott Township Trustee Board meeting. New business. Thank you, John, for sharing the minutes from last meeting. We have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Do you have a second? I'll second that. We'll open the floor for any discussion. Hearing none. Call for vote. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You approve, John? You approve your own minutes? Good. Nay, okay. Now we open up the floor for hearing of the ordinance of resolution for appropriation and tax rates.
Yes.
This is just a hearing, no action.
Exactly right. Thank you, Mr. Brewer. So we will not take any vote tonight. We'll meet in 2 weeks by statute on that. But the ordinance of the resolution of what we have for appropriation and tax rates, I put that in our packet. It's very similar to years past. The element, probably we might want to, just to let you know, we're going to put $40,000 for the fire and EMS on that within there, and it breaks down for certain elements. We will not go over 40,000, but we may adjust if we get to the point to adjust our payment to Ladoga Fire. I would just transfer a little bit of that out, and we'll talk about that when we vote. If that's the case, of that 40,000, we may take, I think, maybe 5,000 of that and put that more into contractual services, and still that would put us at probably asking for, because it's 20,000, be 15,000 for equipment, other things like that, and then with that, the remainder would be for contractual services. We also do have our cumulative fire fund. That's normally where we pay for equipment anyway out of that, and that'd be 40,000. So that's the other elements. The general fund, I'll just go through it since we're here. 14,665. Township assistance 9,500. Township fire EMS 40,000. Cumulative fire 40,000. The adopted budget that we will vote on in 2 weeks would be $104,165, and that would not be any increase at all for any of our residents in Scott Township. That actually stays still lower than what we could be asking for. And I don't think we have anybody in the audience to ask any questions.
I would suggest we hold this thing open for another 3.5 minutes, just in case someone does come to the door.
That sounds good, because we can circle back into it.
Oil, I think that would be fair. So we'll just leave the floor open for any discussion and keep the hearing open until 6:01.
And while we're waiting on that, if we can move on, there's a new law that was passed, as well as not only videotaping or streaming. We're live now. I don't know if anyone has entered this, but the capital improvement plan, and we'll have this for our next meeting. But I tried to send that out to you guys. There's a lot of reading on that. I talked to Sam, who's from the Department of Local Finance, a couple different times on this. But it's very similar to the way we have to do it with schools, and Mr. Bruce probably aware of that. But our capital improvement plan, we have to budget at least 3 years of expenses that we might spend. So on that, I put, and we'll share more of that, more or less kind of equipment for our fire services within there. So I'll get that together, and I'll meet with Sam again, and we'll have a better understanding of what we need to do. The other part of that is any cash balance that we have, the statute states that 30% of that will be taken out to go towards road improvements. When I was talking to Sam about that, I said, of course, you guys know, Scott Township, we really don't have a city or town to talk to. We're close with Newmarket and certain percentage of that. I don't know if Parkersburg has a town council, but within that,
it's not an unincorporated town.
Okay, And that's some of the
So
difficulty.
you mean for roads?
Yes. So, for example, if we have, and 30% of it will be there. So the previous people before us, and some of us served on this board,
Okay,
were
the
saving
budget
money
for
back
that.
around. Now the state is saying,
I'm assuming the budget for that in our case is zero.
well, no, we all have a cash. We have the 2 CDs. So with the cash balance that we have, and that's why I got to talk with Sam, that we may have to cut possibly up to a $30,000 check next year that would go to road improvements.
So what
And
they've
it'll
done,
just sit there.
I think so. I don't know yet.
so
and-
what they've really done at that local level, driven by the state level, is they have an unbudgeted balance, and they're going after our coffers,
Correct.
stretching out and grabbing everybody's savings accounts to try to take care
What I'm
of
wondering
their
is
budgets.
if the county isn't gonna come to all of the townships and demand those funds to help the county with the county.
You're
roads.
right, John. Well,
Right.
my point is
So
that
I think it's
now it gives
just
them
a
legal grounds
money
to do
grab.
it.
It's a money grab.
Yeah. And they don't have, they voted that into law, the implementation, because it's going to have to be kind of an MOU, a memorandum for understanding of, and we would have a little bit of control of that, of what roads. So for example, the road we live on,
Oh, yeah.
would that be with,
There's some
Say-
roads that, there's some
say that-
roads that need.
yeah. And that's where I think there's probably some roads that need some help.
1150,
but I just-
but state fights about it, saying, we cut off here. The county fights about it, saying, well, the state should be fixing that.
Right. And that's
So
where,
it never gets fixed.
and that's where we may have a little bit more of maybe a meeting or trying to figure that out, of saying whatever that dollar amount is, and then who do we meet with to make sure that it doesn't fix a
Yeah.
township outside of
Right.
Scott Township. The part that
Right.
bothers me as stewards of Scott Township, those dollars are Scott Township dollars.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that they fix where we live.
Yeah.
So I'll know more of that, but I wanted to throw that out to you guys because that's one thing that I started working on. And then the other thing is with that, we might as well spend the money. I mean, I know I want to be stewards, but if they're going to take it anyway,
Yeah.
we might need to open up and
Figure out
If-
what we need to do for Scott Township.
right. Yes. So whether that's saying, okay, Newmarket or Ladoga Fire, what else can we do? Because if we're forced to do that, the other part too, and I'll have to look at is if they include the CDs on that, do I have to consider cashing one of them out? Actually have enough revenue to pay what they're saying on the cash balance.
Oh, do we have CDs now?
Yeah, we have 2 of them.
Probably be wise to start doing some of the groundwork to make it, get those CDs so it's fluid, so it's not locked into.
Right. Yeah.
So if it's sitting on the books, at least you can get to it if you had to
Correct.
without penalty. I will say Mike Burkett, I know, gosh, 5 or 6 years ago, working with him, we had to go to I think the fire department of Newmarket or wherever. I remember working with him on a capital plan, and he was required to do it, but it never went anywhere. I think now they're finally getting to the language and put it in place.
Yeah.
And John's exactly right. Everyone's trying to grab the money.
Yeah.
And in one case, we're probably better off. We don't have a major incorporated town in our township.
Yes.
But at the same time, they're going to go after our coffers too. There's just no doubt about that.
They know that we're all sitting on these funds.
And then also,
they just want to get their hands on
These
it.
incorporated towns just have less and less money too.
Oh,
So
definitely.
because they have less and less economy.
Right.
Well, they also have casino income.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. There's some elements, and we'll see how that plays out. But
Well, if we went back 6 years ago, we could have sat here and said, "We saw this coming."
Right. But
Just now, new people, new seats are really starting to grab money.
yes.
So, thank you for your presentation, Mr. Tricker,
Yes.
trustee of Scott Township. Are there any other questions for the hearing?
Just wanted to mention, I went by Cornstalk Cemetery. It's looking real good.
Good. Appreciate that.
As soon as it cools off some, I'm gonna get up to Red and Ball and get that finished up there. And then this fall, Lee Creed said that he wants to redo the monuments, free grottos up at, Wells.
Excellent.
Oh, clean them.
Well, actually, what happened there was when Randy lived there, he knocked all the monuments down flat on the ground so he could mow easier. And Lee wants to put the bases back in, redo the bases and put the monuments back up. So he does a lot of that stuff.
As far as the hearing, and then we can go into or any other new business. Make a motion to close the hearing on the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Motion.
Aye.
Second.
I'll second that.
There. All in favor, say aye.
Hey,
Hearing is now closed as far as the budget's concerned. Any other new business? That, what you were saying here, John?
Appreciate that, John, your work with the cemetery to get that restored.
As
I
far
know.
as the cemetery, and it's not right. Just my opinion. And I don't know about knocking stones over. I'm not for that, but now anymore they make a concrete base and people just do a flat stone for maintenance reasons too, because it's hard to keep a stone flying for 50 years sometimes. They just don't do it like they used to.
we got some really old ones up there and we've had to put epoxy on.
You've been through all that stuff, so.
It's hard to-
Sometimes the flat stones are
They
the
do, I mean, yeah,
long-term maintenance. I'm old school, I don't like it that way, but it's kind of the way it is, so. But I'm just throwing that out there. Old business, we have Newmarket Fire Department found a tanker truck. A check was delivered to them this week for the amount approved by the board of 20 grand. They have the Cuban Fire Fund. Angus, Mike, you want to expand on that? at
Yeah,
all?
so the guys were really excited. I think the truck was up in Wisconsin. It only had 10,000 miles. Thought it was really, really good price for that. The other two townships have went in. And so I delivered to them this week the check for that. They showed me the pictures. They'll arrange getting that picked up. So I think with our, as we discussed last meeting, I think with the terrain of Scott Township, definitely the ability to bring water to help fight a fire is going to help benefit our residents of Scott Township.
I'll add on that too. I'm happy, although I haven't talked to those guys for 3 or 4 years, but I know that's probably been more their worry than it was their want.
Yeah.
For a long time, particularly houses in Lake Holloway, places like that. But we see awful wrecks every day. I know there's not massive ball fires when they have these wrecks, but I was at that one the other day at 231, 234. I just came up on that one before anything out there. And I pulled over to the church and I thought I saw maybe I saw that new tanker truck, maybe practicing, let's just put it that way. But I saw a strong presence of Newmarket and Crawfordsville. I'll leave it at that. I didn't see anything from the east. So, but that's unfair comment because maybe people weren't available to the east. But that was an awful wreck when they had to fly 2 helicopters into one spot.
I just can't believe that something else can be done there, but that's
I'm just about ready to get my pen out again because that just, well,
we was
it has
down.
nothing to do with us, but you got 2 state parks and multiple roads being closed and a major intersection.
Yeah,
A lot of kids and
yeah.
probably 60% of the people aren't even from our county. And you want them to come here, and I live there, and I pause sometimes thinking, I avoid the flashing lights of South Lawn for that very reason. Now I avoid that intersection. I mean, it's safer for me to go out on Bain equipment than it is on those either ones right now. And I used to think Parker's were bad, but it's slowed down a lot better than it used
My
to
son
be.
had a nasty wreck up there
Yeah.
at South Mont. Kid just Came right out, plowed him in the side.
That one, I historically just been terrible intersection. Flashing better up and lights on the stop up. Do you know anything on why all these oversized trucks are coming through town all of a sudden? Is it
what?
hundreds of oversized loads are coming through Crawfordville?
Yes,
Cheaper.
somebody,
Interstate bridge? Has to be.
oh, it's because of, on 74. They've got them, they're two bridges, they totally redo them, and they got them, and, it's all, they can't, the height and everything,
Has to be.
and, they say that's diverting a lot of traffic right there.
Not the one at Wayne Town, 'cause that's not a major change.
There's two interchanges after Waynestown that jump up.
I mean, it is just, I'm
And
talking.
we were that way just the other day, and they are detouring traffic.
Right through town, right here, massive loads coming through town.
I've seen some big ones coming.
They're definitely turning there at the church,
Wow, all those bins down in
but
there.
they're definitely turning at the church heading this direction too, come through Ladoga, so. Any other,
Well, Newcor's got a bunch of stuff going on too, don't
yeah, but I don't think they're bringing loads in. I think all their stuff's on site,
they?
and they come from the north. I'm just seeing,
Yeah, that could be one of it, but yeah, I know
we're on
that's-
TV, but I'm sitting at Jiffy Lube for 20 minutes, and I probably saw 7 oversized loads in
Wow.
10 minutes
Wow.
go through there.
So we're getting ready to redo 136 to Newcor Road.
Cause they're on 74, they got it narrowed down, and
That has to be one of these.
it's so narrow that a white could not go through.
Massive tanks.
Yeah.
Any other old business we need to discuss? Anything else for the good of the order? I asked for a motion to adjourn,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
and John just seconded it. I beat him to it. So we have a motion and a second.
Whatever.
Call the vote, say aye.
Aye.
Mike Tricker, thank you so much for all this work, because I know it's just an extra task that a fly in the face.
There we go.
But it helps the people.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what I was telling when I was talking to the Department of Local Finance.